What the fuck is going on, Fire Family? Welcome back to another episode of Mars Day with Mark. Mark the Shark. Episode 82, Ooh to the Woo. It's good to see your beautiful face. Happy holidays. May all be blessed. May all be at peace. Goodwill to all men, women, and non-binary people. And all goodwill to the dogs and the frogs and the cats and the trees and the logs and no other nouns. That's it. We ran out of goodwill. No, I'm playing. I'm kidding. I make jokes. I'm funny. I'm a cool guy. Okay. How was your year? Tell me that. How was the year for you guys? I would love to know in the comments down below. The funny thing about this week, well, this podcast, this is a weekly podcast, and we're going to go into the future. We're going to talk about the week ahead. And this is the astrology of the week for December 24 up until December 31st. So it's the last week of the year. So I'll show you the transits. And just to be quite frank, and frankly, there's not too much happening. Okay. The planet is spinning. We're flying through outer space at incomprehensible speeds, but you just got used to this. You just don't even notice it or really pay it any mind. But I will show you the degrees, but we're going to fast forward. This is a very special episode of Mars Day with Mark. We're going to go into the future. I'm talking like the end of 2025. So we can kind of get a good macro experience, get an idea of what this year may hold. I really firmly believe and advocate you create your life, and so do I. Nobody else does it but you. That's your job, your responsibility. Should you choose not to believe that, that's totally okay. But you may abdicate, aka give away that power to something or someone or something else. So the question is, does giving away your power empower you? The answer is absolutely fucking not. So if you still don't believe you create your life, you're gonna have a pretty bumpy ride in 2025. Bottom line, point blank, period. And I'm telling you, as an astrologer, and some of you guys are new to the channel, welcome to the Fire family. Some of you guys are returning, welcome back. You catch on pretty quick on this side of the internet. You create the life. The astrology doesn't create your life. If anything, astrology gives you higher perspective of meaning and different patterns of order. What the fuck am I talking about? Does that make sense to you guys? First of all, it's just pattern recognition. Like you look at the places that the planets are in our sky relative where we are on Earth, and you use history to look at what happened at previous times when these things happened. And then you can start to draw a conclusion, create a hypothesis, and test it through science. Okay. And some people would call astrology a pseudoscience. I really don't give a shit because anybody who advocates against astrology has not actually tried it. They got to the very surface, got really confused, and just said it has to be all bullshit. There's a difference between a hard and a soft science, and start there. Okay. But anyway, astrology, we're going to use it today. I'm going to show you the weather. At the end of the day, man, if nothing changes in your life, nothing is going to change. Let me put it this way, short and sweet. For things to change for you, you have to be the one to change. Okay. So for me personally, I don't know if y'all agree, and it's totally okay if you disagree. The scariest thing that could happen to me is being in the same position at the end of this next year that I was at the end of this year. In other words, not moving forward, sitting still while the rest of the world moves forward. Okay. Your life is a journey. Success is a journey. Happiness is a journey. So I encourage you to aim high, go for the skies, aim for the stars. You at least hit the moon, right? But also, guys, enjoy the process as much as you would enjoy the result because this shit never ends. It's an endless spiral, an endless cycle. All right. So I'm advocating for a life well lived. Health, wealth, love, happiness. May you all live the good life. No, live the great life. balance, health, wealth, love, happiness. Let's get to the chart because that's just really what I want to say from my heart because you will have plenty of ideas about how these planets play out and how they affect you. And everybody would do well to be their own astrologer. I'm so grateful that you guys come to me from my perspective. It means the world. I'm grateful you guys buy my books and do my consultations and my curriculum. That's great. But the thing I'm trying to articulate, guys, is that I cannot see through your eyes. I wish I could see through everybody's eyes and understand where everybody's coming from. And if we had more understanding in this world, we'd have a better world. All right. But anyway, this is the chart of the moment, December 24th. Ignore the houses. These are based on my local geography. So I would just say watch the planets and their aspects, and I'll explain these to you. And this is New Year's Eve, the 31st of December. So I'll give you the little metaphysical weather forecast. Pretend this was, what do you call it? The map of the heavens. And it's like, oh wow, in Ohio, the sun, and really everywhere, but the sun is in the tropical Capricorn constellation at 3 degrees. And I'm going to highlight this because that's a good weatherman. Boom. How about yellow? We could go for yellow or orange. Yeah. Well, that's like, can we go brighter? Yeah. Boom. The sun is in tropical Capricorn. So happy Capricorn season. Shout out my Capricorns. And if you guys are celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. Pay attention to the energy of the current chart, especially on your solar return. Hey, shout out Cece, one of my favorite Capricorns. This is her solar return today. Check out the chart of your birthday or the exact degree where the sun lines up with your natal sun, and just understand you're going to carry this energy for the rest of the year. So it's important for the Capricorns to make note of this, okay? But anyway, today the sun is in Capricorn at 3 degrees, the moon is in Libra, waning, I might add, at about 26 Libra. So we're going to have our next lunation this week, actually. So that is something to talk about. We have a new moon in Capricorn on the 30th. So this is actually very special, guys. And I'm going to talk about this let's talk about it now, just so I don't have to jump back and forth. The new moon is happening right before New Year's. How special is that, guys? So my best advice for this is instead of, you know, celebrating your life with self-destructive behavior, and for some of y'all, you want to celebrate self-destructive behavior with self-destructive behavior. Let's not do that. No, the day before New Year's Eve, aka the 30th, let's do some powerful work on ourselves. This is a new beginning, the lunar cycle, right? The new moon. This happens once a month. But when we really align our intentions with the new moon, we start to get leverage from the universe. This is kind of akin to swimming down the stream as opposed to trying to tread the water and swim against the current. There's a difference. It's so much easier to go with the flow of the water. So when the moon is new and dark, this is time for you to kind of shut the world out and go into your little hidey hole and hibernate. Go into the seat of your soul, your heart, and set your intentions. Start a new journey. This is like the Fool card in the tarot. It's about new goals, right? And doesn't almost everybody set resolutions at the beginning of the year and start to dream big? And I tell you guys, as the creator of your life, you don't have to wait for New Year's to start putting a fire under your ass. And I just think it's such a beautiful synchronicity with this new moon coming a day before New Year's Eve that we're actually getting celestial leverage for setting our new goals. Okay. But here's the thing, the new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle. The cycle of the moon takes about 29 days. So instead of just having some arbitrary, lofty goals for the whole entire year, do write them down if this is empowering. But my point is, write your goals for the month. Okay. Because you may want to build a castle or climb a mountain or do something monumental, right? But the only way you're going to get there, guys, is by those little baby steps in hitting those little micro goals along the way. So Capricorn energy is really about being serious, being pragmatic, having a strategy. Okay. That's what this energy is about. So I'm going to advance to the new moon chart really quick, just so you guys can see what I'm saying. And then we'll go through like, the rest of the week and then I'll go into even the next year. And that's our itinerary today. Because quite frankly, guys, we don't have any planetary ingress this week. So there's really not much news. And if you want to click in the description below to watch last week's video, you may get a more updated breakdown or a more detailed breakdown of all these current energies. And you can even go in that same video, we talk about the past 2024, like what these transits of the year did. So in this video, it's the weekly podcast still, but then we're going to go into the whole year ahead. Okay. But this is the new moon chart on the 30th of December. Let me move the little annotation. You can see the sun and the moon join up, dark moon, basically. So how cool is that? You won't really see the moon because it's dark. How cool. Oh, that's so cool. I really love that. It's like it's sitting in front of the sun. It's not on the opposite side of the earth. We're not getting the reflection. So hopefully the physics are clear to everybody, but essentially this is that new beginning. It's time for us to move forward. There's a couple interesting aspects that I'm seeing to the moon, really only two. And the first one is the sun and the moon making a semi-square to Venus. All right. And what's that saying? It's saying that this lunation cycle, this moon, is really about love. It's really about beauty. It's about peace. All the great Venus qualities. Okay. And the funny thing is, this love, this Venus energy is really meant to come from within, aka the sun and the moon. You're supposed to create love, you know? And this semi-square, this is a hard angle, guys. So if you don't recognize that this is your prerogative, your quest for peace, your quest for love, you may start to project this need and want onto other people. Or you may even, on a more general note, kind of feel disillusioned in some way, feel like things aren't that beautiful, things aren't perfect, you know? So don't let your standards, your idealism, your expectations even dim your shine. Okay. It's great to have high hopes. And I encourage you guys to dream and think big. That's even what this Mercury Sagittarius is telling us to do is to think big. But just recognize if you can't appreciate the love and the peace and the joy right now, no matter what you're going through, it's going to make it a lot harder to manifest bigger blessings within your life. Okay. And also, I say this because I'm a consulting astrologer. I see a lot of people born under the sun semi-square to Venus. It's a pretty common aspect. And the negatives about this one are caring way too much about what other people think about you, being externally motivated and validated. So the call comes from inside the house, guys. And if you don't spend enough time by yourself, you may miss it. You may not actually hear what's going to make you the most fulfilling. And I'm gonna cut to it even deeper. Think about this, guys. How many people in this world do you think are going after a list of goals that are really modified and shaped by the expectation of other people? So when it comes down to this new moon and even your New Year's resolutions, the real question is, who are you trying to impress? That's my real question for you, Fire Family. Intrinsic motivation, intrinsic recognition. And that means to be satisfied with yourself, to make the decision to better yourself because you want to better yourself, not because you watched this video, not because everybody else is doing New Year's resolutions, not because your dad said this or your mom said that or somebody hated on you in a public scenario and hurt your feelings. No, who do you want to be? This is your life. All right. So treat it precious and keep your eyes on your own paper and recognize there is no competition in your life, only secret collaboration in this world, okay? And beyond that, if you do want to climb the mountain and push yourself, the only person you compete against is who you were yesterday, okay? Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't even compare yourself to the future version of yourself. Have a vision, but compare yourself against who you were yesterday. And just always strive to do better. Strive to give life your all. And I really feel like on top of this, guys, this is gonna really say with the Venus semi-square, the new moon, this month is heavy on self-love. When we're turning this calendar, when we're turning this year, the question is how can we love ourselves more? How can we create beauty and peace within our own lives? And the real thing about it, I can speak from experience. I have a lot of peace right now. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I can attest to my peace being here because I used to be one of the most anxious people. I used to hate myself for a shit ton of reasons. Not good reasons, but I had a list of them basically. And, I was so wrapped up in the opinions of other people that I was a people pleaser. I'm just trying to add my credentials to this, okay? Self-love is super important. And you got to give yourself that gift. You got to be able to. This is the key point. I almost lost the point by explaining that I know the point. Okay, the point here is this, guys. So I just hope everybody's sticking with me and can get something good from this conversation is that you can't really argue with your conscious. You can't argue with your higher intellect. This is very sun and moon energy. When you do things that hurts your feelings, when you go against your higher judgment, you essentially are sending a message to yourself that you're not worth listening to. And it's hard to respect yourself. It's hard to love yourself. And there's so many ways to demonstrate love. There's even a really good book by Gary Chapman, The Five Love Languages. Some of you guys may be familiar that, you can show love through, physical touch or quality time or words of affirmation or gift giving and acts of service. So those are the five love languages. And the question then becomes, are you showing up for yourself? Are you showing yourself love? All right. And if I were to ask somebody and I do ask intermittently, on my lives when I'm with my community, what does a good relationship revolve around? And I want to speak on this because it's Venus energy. And a lot of people will say, honesty, communication, trust, and they're absolutely correct. They're not wrong whatsoever. So the question is, are you honest with yourself? Do you trust yourself? Do you actually communicate with yourself? These could be ways of demonstrating the quality time with yourself or words of affirmation to yourself. The acts of service are so key, guys, because self-sabotage is not self-love. I'm going to repeat that. Self-sabotage is not self-love. Harming yourself is not loving yourself. Okay. And I'm going to take it even to Pluto for a second and just really recognize, guys, that self-preservation is the number one law of nature. If you look at humans, if you look at tigers, if you look at zebras, if you look at trees, self-preservation is the number one law of nature. So by contrast, by the law of polarity, self-destruction is the first crime of nature. Don't hurt yourself. Don't crash out. Don't participate in negativity within your own life if you have the ability to control it. So consider this year when it comes to resolutions and goals, maybe instead of adding new habits to your life, which is totally cool, maybe consider taking away certain other habits because there's things you're in the habit of doing and things you're in the habit of not doing. So if there's actions that you are doing that don't cause you any good and you can stop them, stop them. And you'll thank yourself. This is addition by subtraction. You remove something from your life, life gets better. How cool is that? Okay. So love is not lies. Love is listening to yourself, and love is making it make sense. And also, you got to treat people the way you want to be treated, man. We are social creatures by definition. So with this being Capricorn, and I did post a whole video about all the signs going through Capricorn season. What's Capricorn going to bring? I'll list it below. Capricorn is Saturn energy. It's very much about boundaries, guys. So it's about reinforcing correct boundaries in your life with others, making sure that you abide by the right virtues as far as your personal conduct. That's how we're going, and that's how we're moving in this season, in this cycle, okay? And there's one other aspect to this one, and then we'll move through the rest of the clock in the next year. Because I feel like I often say I'll make it a short and sweet video, and then I yap and yap and yap. So I'm grateful that you guys like to listen. And I'm grateful that Spirit gave me a Leo Mercury because I could say damn near anything. And they're like, his voice just feels like a pot roast on the crock pot. I'm thinking about the food that we're making right now. But what else? Like rolls with butter. Hope you guys have a great, I don't really celebrate Christmas, but great Yuletide blessings, and eat and nourish yourself and take care of yourself, okay? The other thing that I want to say about Venus, last thing, because this idea has been like trying to push itself out of my consciousness with the words. Okay, boom. A great relationship really is three things. And this month is going to highlight relationships because Venus is aspecting our lunation. It's three things, guys. And please make a note of this. This is not my idea. I got this idea from a very successful couple. Similar vision, similar interests, similar values. Vision, values, interests. And the idea is in a relationship, if you guys share a vision, that means you want to go in the same direction. If we can't agree there, there is no relationship. Bottom line. Somebody may say, I want to go to China, but I want to sail to the East Indies. Well, we're going to have a problem because we can't sail two places at one time. And I don't have the time to redirect my ship to go feed into your fantasy. No. A relationship is two willing participants. Okay. That's as far as it goes. So if we're not want to go to the same place, there is no relationship. You may want to be my friend. I may not want anything to do with you. We're not friends. It doesn't matter how much you think we're friends. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you have seen my last videos, you kind of get where this may be coming from as well. But anyway, I digress. Values. This is the way you learn. This is the way you grow. This is the way you compromise. If people don't have the same values, they're not going to grow together. They're not going to learn together. And on top of this, with interests, if you don't even have the same interests, you can't really enjoy your time with a person. Because let's say I'm into astrology. Let's say I'm into tarot cards and going to the gym and, you know, financial markets and instruments. And this is what I'm into. I like books. And it's like, let's say somebody likes to go to the bar all the time in the club and shake that ass. And that's cool. It's not my scene really. You know, let's say this person likes to watch Gossip Girl or reality television. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't like it. Let's say this person likes to go to Christian church and they don't like tarot cards or astrology because it's quote unquote idolatry. It's like, well, I don't have same interests as them. It's like there may be a way to find common ground, but it's not really going to be working because in order for us to become in a relationship, we have to compromise our own genuine interests, fake values that we don't actually uphold, and try to create an alternative vision to be in a relationship. It doesn't make sense. It's absolutely not good. And it may seem like this is really eloquacious, verbose. You guys got the point 5 fucking minutes ago. But I just really want to reiterate this, guys, because this is something I feel the need to speak on in my actual life. And if I'm feeling this, I know the world needs to hear it. A relationship should not feel like you're pulling teeth out of somebody's mouth. If a person doesn't want anything to do with you, just leave them alone. That's as far as it goes. And don't be so. And there's a thing about Venus. You know, I posted videos about this before. Venus is ruling over traditionally Taurus and Libra. So Venus shows us what we need, what we value, and how we relate. And that's really cool. But Venus also exalts, is elevated in Pisces. So Venus can also run very parallel our fantasies and our higher ideals, and even what we derive our spirituality from, how we make our sacrifices, where our devotion lies in life. Those are all Pisces phenomenons. So what I find that a lot of people struggle with in love and even their own personal values is overindulgence and a lack of boundaries. 100%. Okay. And boundaries are really important in a relationship. And if you don't know where your boundaries are and what your non-negotiables are, guys, chances are you'll be violated by others or you violate yourself because you don't know where your boundaries are. So before you ever get in a relationship, whether that is romantic or business or platonic, I I just strongly encourage you. It would behoove you that you figure that shit out and take time and put it on paper, make a list, write it down. What am I not willing to compromise with? I have a long list. And I also have another list for standards of the things I'm looking for. All right. And I will just say, when you understand what you want and what you won't tolerate, here's the beautiful thing. It makes it so easy in relationships, guys. You become the person of your standards. It's like I could give examples for all this, but I think it's so clear. I know my ideas are mine, but I think I speak so clear. I hope everybody's getting my message without the need for extra elaboration, mansplaining all of this bullshit. But like, if your standards are, I want somebody healthy and rich and talented and beautiful, it's like, how are you going to attract it if you're out of shape, unhealthy, inept, and like you don't pay any attention to your appearance? You know what I mean? It's like there's no reciprocity there, right? So you live by your own standards. Guys, please just I said this at the beginning, I'm gonna repeat it. It's like don't get tricked into thinking that the love outside of you is better than your own love, because it's not. This world really is your mirror. This world is really corresponding to your energy. And you will never find the one until you become the one. I'm gonna say that again. You will never find the one until you become the one. If you're not the end all be all person for yourself, you will never find that in somebody else, because the world is just corresponding to your energy. So this is called projection. This is really one of the vices, the illusions of Venus. And I made a whole video about this, how to become a virtuous person, stop fucking up your own life. It is based on the tree of life. It's based on the planets and their virtues, vices, obligations, and illusions. All right. Projection is one of the vices of Venus. And that means it's their thing. It's their problem. Think of what does a projector do? A projector is one of those machines that you feed film through and it shows the image on a screen, right? So this is like the Neptune thing, the Venus, the Pisces thing. It's like you can literally have a desire, a need, something inside of you, and you can push that out of you onto somebody else. Oh, baby, you're perfect for me. We must be soulmates. We must be lovers. We must be. It's like, no, that's your fantasy. That's your illusion. And I'm sure we've all experienced this probably on both sides of the equation. It's like, you don't care about me. You don't do enough for me. You don't respect me. It's like, but are you respecting yourself? When did it become my job to care about you? When did it become my job to fulfill all your needs? No, it's not my job. You're projecting. Okay. So, I mean, needless to say, I was going to explain, and it kind of goes back full circle. I have boundaries in my own relationships. Before I ever get in a relationship, I know there's things I'm not willing to tolerate. I won't tolerate lies. I won't tolerate manipulation. I won't tolerate deceit. I won't tolerate people putting their unresolved emotional garbage on me. I won't tolerate inconsistency in text. I won't tolerate people ignoring me for extended periods of time. And I will say I have different boundaries for different relationships. That's really like a romantic boundary. If you are my lover and you want to not respond to me for multitudes of weeks, it's like, yeah, I just peacefully say deuces. I'm not doing that shit. And it's like some of y'all know certain, and I'm just giving examples, but some of y'all know certain things upset you, but because you haven't made it a clear boundary to yourself, you just allow yourself to go through that pain. All right. And I will just say this doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or them. It's just a lack of clarity, because maybe you don't want that. That pain or that anger or that frustration that comes in your life is teaching you a lesson where your boundaries are. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this person is bad to their core. They may have a certain value, style, or love nature that's perfect for somebody else. Okay. And I'm just seeing a lot of people trying to force things that don't exist, trying to put a square peg into a round hole, and also just not going where they're wanted as well. And how fucked is it, guys? Like, literally, heartbreak is one of the most painful things you'll feel as a human, and unrequited love is not good either. But when someone doesn't want to love you, leave them alone. There's billions of people in this world, and you're naive and kind of confused, or, at worst, maybe kind of wounded to the point where you think that's your person. No, leave them alone. Love yourself. That's the message for this one, okay? But anyway, other aspect for the new moon, because it's a love month, It's a love lunation, but we also have the new moon making a sesquiquadrate to Uranus. So I will just say, guys, this is some chaotic energy. Uranus is kind of like in Taurus specifically, is like a bull on steroids. It's like, it's tweaking, man. And my best advice, guys, is to expect the unexpected where Uranus is concerned. And if you feel this level of tension that can come from Uranus's unstable, I should say unstable, it's instability, it's wantingness to revolt, to revolt or to change or to rebel. What you would do well to do is just stay in motion and be flexible and don't be so attached to the way that you think things are going to go out. All right, have a goal, have a plan, but be willing to redirect the plans as need be. And also, if I could back it up more neutrally, guys, this lunation is really about wanting to be free. Uranus energy. All right, but at the same time, there's this want for stability. And I heard this from Spirit. They say it plays out both ways. Where, like, let's say Capricorn, for instance, on one side may say, I want, and I'm talking about the lunation, like not Capricorn people, the energy. The Capricorn part of us may say, well, I want autonomy, I want sovereignty, I want more responsibility, I want more control. But the Taurus part of us may be like, well, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to have all my needs met. I just want to chill out. I just want to calm down and surrender. All right. So you may see these two parts of yourself kind of fighting each other. And the question then becomes, how can you use your, you know, inertia or stability or even laziness as a force that's constructive and productive and ambitious in some way. And this sounds like an oxymoron, and that's literally why we have such a hard angle here. And the other question goes on the exact opposite. How can I use my industriousness? How can I use my responsibility and my discipline, my Capricorn energy to create a life that's more stable and peaceful, aka Taurus? Okay. So I will just say, guys, this to me strikes as a month of hard work, which I love personally. I'm a Virgo rising, so I love the work. And I would just say make peace with that, guys, because your dreams don't work unless you do. Okay. And the work is innately satisfying too, guys. So it's like I can speak from deep in my Saturn Taurus, like to my core. I can feel like laziness can be like a human vice, it can run in all of us. And who doesn't like the path of least resistance? It's so much easier to do nothing than it is to do something. But at the end of the day, doing nothing gets you nothing. So there's that to think about. And I'm not telling you never to rest again in your life. I'm just saying try to find balance and lean into the work that's rewarding, that's intrinsically rewarding, and be clear about your personal goals so you actually get positive reinforcement from the work. Because let's put it this way, guys, like, and I can use an example from my personal life, and then we'll go into the astrology of the week and the rest of the year. Because I think I've talked about this lunation a lot, but at the same time, it is worth talking about. You have to be clear about your vision, guys. This is called definiteness of purpose. Why are you here? What are you doing? People question all the time, what is my purpose? And if you really take the time to Google the words, define the terms, purpose means intention, purpose means goal. And why are you asking other people what your goal is? That doesn't even make sense. And it's like, and I don't mean people any harm by saying this or any negativity, but I just like, a lot of people will question me as a diviner, as a psychic, as an astrologer, what's my purpose? And I can give them cool advice based on the astronomical symbols in their chart about what it means, what they could stand to learn in this life beyond others. But at the end of the day, man, you make your goals. Nobody makes your goals. We talked about this earlier in the video. Who are you trying to impress? Are you trying to impress everybody else but yourself? At the end of the day, you're all you have. You came in this world alone, you'll leave this world alone. All right. So what you have to do is become a person that you can respect. And you have to listen to your higher intellect. And at the same time, guys, you have to listen to other people too. This is the kicker with the Venus thing. It's like we are social creatures and you have to be able to learn from other people. And some people won't see you correctly, or maybe they'll see a limited version of you that you don't want to listen to. Others will project their lack and limitations on you. People will project all types of bullshit on you, all their fantasies, all their illusions. Your job is to not identify with that shit. Your job is to be rational and to ask yourself, hey, does this make sense? Can I build from this? Can I use this? Is this useful? And a lot of times when the answer is no, just understand you're probably not that person's friend, or they might not be looking out for you, or maybe they want to direct you in a way that your values don't lead, incongruent to your vision. So you have to make that decision for yourself. Where the fuck am I going? All right, guys. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you don't have a target, you're not going to shoot. So I just really want you guys to imagine, because I know sometimes planning can get complicated and give us a headache, but like just think about this. Close your eyes if you have to. And just imagine, because we're literally about to round out 2024. Imagine it's a year from now. It's the future. And we've gone through January and February and March and April and May. And we've gone through a whole new year of 2025. But at the end of the year, where do you want to be? How does life look when you're living life the way you want to live it? A lifestyle by your design. And don't let that linear mind fuck you up. Forget the how. Just focus on the what and focus on the why right now. And I want you to build that picture. What does it look like for you? And imagine you're living a good life, a great life. Health, wealth, love, happiness. Imagine yourself in tip-top physical shape. Imagine yourself in peak physical performance. Imagine yourself healthy. What does that look like? Paint that picture for yourself. And then can you feel it? Can you tune into the vibration? Can you imagine how good it feels to be healthy, to be vibrant, to be full of energy? Bring that feeling in right now and expand that feeling, okay? And now what I want you guys to do is imagine yourself wealthy a year from now, okay? And paint that picture. What does wealth look like to you? And the kicker is feeling it. So can you feel prosperity? Can you feel abundance? Can you feel yourself having such resourcefulness? You've amassed resources. Some say wealth is the ability to control time. So you've got enough money to save, enough money to spend, enough money to give, enough money to lend. You've got enough money to invest in your desires and your growth. Paint that picture. What does it look like to live a rich life? Imagine this. Forget the how. And I will say, because I know how you guys think, because a lot of y'all are similar to me, it's like you may start building visions and your goals might be throwing themselves in your face right now as we do this little exercise, which is dope. You're using your higher intellect. You're using your Uranus's energy to figure this out. How cool is that? So if the goals come, and I recommend you put them on paper before this new year, put them on the monthly goals, create these yearly goals. Some of y'all can break them down quarterly, and some of you guys impress the fuck out of me. And you have like 3-year goals and 5-year goals, and you've got your whole, decade planned out. And it's really playing out that way like a machine. So props to you guys. What does wealth look like? What does it feel like? Can you expand that feeling of abundance in your heart? Can you imagine yourself living and giving more, serving the world and yourself and those that you care about from a place of strength and generosity and abundance? Can you really feel it? You feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? All right, on top of this, beyond this, life is about love. The meaning of life is love. Can you imagine your life full of love? And imagine again, it's 2025. We're having this conversation a year in the future, in December. And your life is full of love, more love than you've ever experienced before. Like whatever love you have right now, build upon it. Imagine increase. Imagine being in relationships with people that you can trust, people that respect you, people that reciprocate your energy, where the communication is clear and cogent and you feel safe with these people. We don't have to force things. We don't have to change yourself. Imagine loving yourself fully and unconditionally and removing all self-destructive behaviors from your life, living healthy and wealthy and alive, respecting the person that you are through not just your self-talk, but your daily habits. Imagine the people in your life respecting you and loving you. Imagine love guiding you in your life and helping you build a better world. Imagine that and feel that. Can you expand that feeling to your whole body? How does it feel? I like the feeling personally. I think it's so cool. And just imagine yourself happy at 2025 as well. All right. Imagine yourself full of joy. Imagine yourself doing exactly what you want to do. Some derive their happiness from fulfillment, getting to do what makes them feel full, contribute the most. I think a good gauge of this question is if money didn't exist, or if you had unlimited sums of money, rather, would you be doing what you're doing right now? If you had all the money, if money was a non-issue, would you be doing what you're doing right now? So I want you to imagine yourself being happy, getting to live what we call a lifestyle by design. You being the creator, you making a life for yourself, not abdicating this responsibility to anybody else in the world, not the government, not society, not your parents and the shit they did to you. Casting blame out of your life, creating the life that you want. That's what this is about. This little exercise, guys, because I could be like a lot of people on the internet and say, well, this is the ritual that you need to do to change your life. And oh my God, we have a full moon and blah, blah, blah. And people want to sell you their attention and their content and try to hype it up like we don't have a fucking new moon in Capricorn every goddamn year. Newsflash, we do. But just go within yourself. That's where all the answers are. And this will lead you towards the best course of action, guys. But anyway, I'll go over the flavor of the week. Basically, like I said earlier, not really much is changing this week about the planets besides this new moon in Capricorn lunation on New Year's Eve, aka the 30th. So where we started this week on the 24th, the planets are going to be in the exact same signs, guys. We have Sun in Capricorn. You know, the moon moves damn near every couple days, but Mercury's going to be in Sag all week. Venus will be in Aquarius all week. Mars will be in Leo all week. Jupiter will be in Gemini all week. Saturn in Pisces. Uranus in Taurus. Neptune in Pisces. Pluto in Aquarius. And the North Node still in Aries. South Node still in Libra. So get excited. Ooh, wee. I can feel some in my root chakra. It feels crazy. I can feel the increase. I can feel the stability coming my way. I can feel my hips need a little stretch too. But anyway, 1 week from now, New Year's Eve, guys, if you look close at the chart, same exact thing. The only real noticeable differences is at that point the moon will be in Capricorn, you know, and Mercury moves up a couple degrees, Venus moves up. Some of these retrograde planets move back a little bit. We have Mars and Pluto really touching into their opposition, guys. So I've talked about this relentlessly. I really want to speak on it again because this is really a big theme, guys, for all of us right now. Mars applying to Pluto in opposition. I should really call it reapplying because Pluto is really far out. Mars is a little closer. So I want you to think about Pluto like the hour hand on the clock. It moves the slowest around the clock. And let's say Mars is like the second hand. So these two are moving around in the same direction, but then there's that retrograde. So basically, it's like Mars already made an opposition with Pluto. Then Mars went retrograde, and now it's about to touch into this opposition again, this 180-degree angle. So Mars will make its way back into Cancer in 2025. And then at some point when Mars goes direct, we're going to have a third touch of the Mars-Pluto opposition, guys. So do be aware of this energy. It's very important. And this is a reflection of what we're experiencing right now. And there's billions of people in the world will all experience it differently. This is about control. It's about evolution and it's about growth. Mars and Pluto are very similar energies, but Pluto is the higher version of Mars. And the more you think about this, the more you'll start to see it play out in your actual life. But Mars is masculine energy. It's Mars Day with Mark, by the way. But this is all about intention, guys. It's about the choices we make. It's about the direction of our energy. And you can even see it in the symbol of Mars, where Mars has, you know, this little circle, and then it has this arrow connected to it. Mars is about the circle of energy, the circle of life being directed somewhere. All right. That's choices. Now, what is Pluto? Pluto is raw primal power. Like I said, it's a higher version of Mars. Some even say Pluto is the soul. And not everybody believes in the soul or life after death or the more, you know, esoteric parts of existence. But that's what Pluto really is about, is this raw primal power. If you really think about it, if Mars is instinct and Pluto's the higher Mars, the highest manifestation of instinct really is evolution. That's me trying to draw Pluto out for you guys. The highest manifestation of instinct is evolution. And a lot of us think about evolution as a slow, gradual process, and some believe it doesn't even exist. But most people who subscribe to the idea of evolution look at that giant timeline from like Neolithic to now, and you see people dragging their knuckles on the ground and then people walking upright like a human, and that's what's going on, guys, but do pay attention on the more microscopic level. Evolution is the things that you have to do to continue surviving, where the weak get phased out, the slow zebra gets cooked. You know what I mean? And it's ugly, it's hideous, it's the brutality that life holds. Okay, guys? So now we're talking about this energy as a human, Mars opposite to Pluto, on one of the most positive outcomes. This is the intention to evolve. And this would look like getting stronger in your personal life. It would look like cutting out self-sabotage. It would look like willfully gaining strength. It would look like using your energy to better yourself, to heal yourself, to evolve yourself, to study, to work out, to learn, to become more loving, to become more compassionate. Okay. And I said again, guys, we've had this angle move in. It's been a theme for like the last couple months. We'll experience it in 2025. And because these planets are moving so slow, they may kind of fade into the background. People may not be actually seeing it all the time. This is a test of impulse control. Mars being impulse, control being Pluto. Impulse control. Can you control your fucking self? That's the real question. And unfortunately, not everybody can do that. Some people are actually unable to control themselves. Or maybe they can and they choose not to. Y'all saw my last video, maybe you didn't. I have a stalker. I have a person who will not leave me alone. Our conversations go like, leave me alone. I need you to stop talking to me. I don't want you in my life. And they say, but you need me in your life. And I say, no, I don't. And they say, respect my boundaries. And I say, you're not respecting mine. I told you to leave me the fuck alone. And it's delusion and it's stupid. So I will just say, I'm not saying this to be personal and like just air out my personal life. I'm trying to paint a picture, give an example. Some people are dangerous, guys. And you know this because you live in the world and you see a lot of them go to fuck to jail where they actually belong. Criminals, outlaws, idiots. I encourage you not to be afraid, guys. Be aware that the law is for protecting us, but don't be waiting on the law for everything. Okay. Because there are issues with the legal system. I live in America personally, but I just recommend everybody practice preventative maintenance. All right. What does that mean? Get ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay. I think every able-bodied person should know how to defend themselves, should know how to fight and use their hands in combat or use a weapon in combat because some people are legitimately dangerous. So do not become a victim. Do not become a casualty of people's lack of self-control. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Learn how to protect yourself. Move militant. Be ready to pop off at a moment's notice. And some say, damn, Mark, are you really, is it really that serious? Yes, it's really that serious, guys. I don't know who said this phrase, but only the paranoid survive. And I'll let you think about that thought and really see if it resonates with you. Do you want to be a naive zebra that's getting mauled by the crocodile, or would you rather be, a paranoid zebra that lives? And there's other options, but if you had to pick one of the two, which one would you pick? Some of you guys listening to my voice, and I'm not saying this is judgment, it's just a simple observation. Some people believe there's virtue in being docile, in being dominated, in being um, a victim. And I won't argue with you if that's how you feel. More power to you. But me personally, I will never choose to be a victim, even if it gave me attention or a consolation prize or sympathy. No, I don't want to be a victim because nothing good happens to victims by definition. So I also look at it this way, guys, where, if there was a form of morality in this world, which is somewhat hard to talk about because morals and ethics are circumstantial and subjective, basically meaning what's good for me may not actually be good for you, which is where it's kind of confusing. And that's, really a broad concept. But if morality did exist, if there was a place to draw right and wrong, if somebody is doing wrong and you're not standing up to it, aren't you allowing evil to exist? Doesn't that make you implicit in it? If you have the ability to stand up and fight against it and you don't, doesn't that make you just as bad? Maybe not just as bad, but doesn't that equate to bad by your own logic as well? That's what I'm talking about. Courage, and taking responsibility for your life. Like I didn't choose for this person to stalk me, but I'm handling it. I'm taking care of it. I've already contacted the police. I've already went to the courthouse and they're not going to touch me. They're not going to do anything. And should they do something, we're ready. The boundary is firm. It's been drawn. The law is on my side. This person thinks, and I'm very upset about it still, but I'm not letting it affect my peace. I have to stay focused on the mission. If they want to try to fucking Mars my Pluto, it's going to end bad for them because I'm not looking for them. I'm minding my own business. I'm practicing preventative maintenance. Don't come for me. Leave me the fuck alone. And this person insists on not doing that. But anyway, I digress, guys. Pay attention to your surroundings. Don't go into dangerous places. Just mind your business for the start of this year, okay? And I will say, as far as like outer transits go, and then we'll move into the last part of the video, which is 2025, and show you guys what transits are really going to be coming. Pay attention to how we're starting this year with Jupiter Saturn square, because this is going to be one of the higher time frame effects of the year. Beyond Mars Pluto testing your impulse control and asking you to avoid danger and just kind of lay low and work on self-defense. And I'm going to speak more on the Mars Pluto guys because I'm painting one negative example from my life, but there's positive lessons for me to learn from it. Mars and Pluto is about energy vampires. Mars is about cutting. Mars is about removing. Mars is the CEO of fuck you and no, basically. Anytime you have to say no to something, that's Mars energy. Kind of Saturn energy as well, but I digress. And is there a reason that Mars exalts in Capricorn? Huh. I wonder about that. Makes me think. But anyway, Pluto not only is this evolution, it can really reflect toxicity. It could reflect bullshit, some negative things in life. And this is what we're literally talking about already. It's like in order to become stronger, you have to be able to overcome the negative. In order to grow and evolve, you got to be able to deal with the bullshit. You got to be able to put your foot down and cut it out. So I would say, in addition to just minding your business on a physical level, pay attention to your energy, guys, and pay attention to how people affect you and be mindful of those that just want to steal your energy. I recommend labradorite. This is a stone, a crystal, and labradorite is very protective, psychically speaking. This is the CEO stone of you can't drain my fucking life force energy. So if you guys don't have any labradorite, I really recommend you get yourself a little gift for the end of the year. Maybe start your year off with a shield and get yourself a little necklace. You can cover the heart, the most important part of your body with labradorite, and this can really help you from people that want to take you off your center or literally consume you like a goddamn crocodile eats a zebra. No, you don't deserve to be a casualty of life or a victim of people's lack of self-control or their self-justification or their entitlement. So, Fire Family, bullshit happens in life, but we will never assume the identity of a victim, only a survivor. And the beautiful thing is, you made it through this year, 2024. You are stronger than your worst days on life, on Earth. So I just see things going up and up and up for y'all, Fire Family. The person who stalks my page is not Fire Family. I want to make that abundantly clear because while I have one isolate, weird circumstance, I know that if I'm dealing with negative people and energies, y'all are dealing with them too in some way, shape, or form. I know a probability says that some of you guys don't have any people that irritate you because your life is very peaceful, and I love that for you and you deserve it. But at the same time, some of you guys relate to wholeheartedly, and it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a coworker, a boss. It could literally be a stalker in your life too. Because, yeah, the person stalking me, they're not a friend. I hardly even want to call them an enemy because there's no relationship. They think I'm their husband, dude. This is the craziest shit to talk about in my year. Quite literally. I've had such a good year, and I might make a separate video talking about like the highlights of my year. A really great year. So much personal growth, a lot of evolution in my life. I killed a lot of destructive habits. I traded them for better ones. I gained like 20 pounds. I learned how to fight. I learned how to break somebody's arm should they want to pursue me. I learned how to neutralize a threat almost instantly. I don't walk in fear anymore. I walk in peace and strength, and I'm more situationally aware, and I'm smarter, and I'm stronger, and my dick got bigger. I don't know about that. I never measured it, but either way, I'm sorry. Like I'm just trying to flex at this point. But basically, and I get ready faster, and I put on my clothes faster, and I stand taller, and I smell better, and I have a higher net worth, and I can do more push-ups, and I can cook faster, and I open my mail faster. It's like I just got better across the board, man. Seriously. Still not perfect. I refuse to see myself as perfect because then I'll stop growing, you know? But anyway, it's been a good year. So I will just kind of say that Jupiter, Saturn square, and then we move into 2025. Because I will say, guys, this is a big part of 2025 as well. The fact that we're starting this year with these high time frame transits. So I gave you the itinerary in the beginning of the video, and it's been a gradual moving through these things, okay? So that being said, Jupiter and Saturn square is really about growth. Jupiter leads and Saturn says no. You could say Jupiter will expand, Saturn will contract. Jupiter also shows us deep meaning, spiritual reasoning, and faith, where we feel led to go and where we want to give. And it's where the blessings are being spread out. Jupiter doesn't really fuck with Gemini to begin with, guys. This is Jupiter in its detriment sign. It's halfway across the wheel from home. Other words, Sagittarius. So Jupiter in Gemini is like a wind tunnel of ideas. It's so much to think about. It's chaotic a little bit. It's really blessing us through Gemini energy, which is all about communication and interactivity. So you guys may have kind of felt like this 2024, at least the latter half of it, because we had a little Jupiter Taurus at the beginning. This latter half, this Gemini Jupiter is just like spreading us thin sometimes or pushing us in a multitude of directions. And your mind might be working a million miles a minute. So being able to structure yourself or kind of create some calm in the chaos, that seems to be the issue. And it's all about communication. It's about improving your conversation with yourself and the world, mastering your self-talk, being more concise. Mindset is really a big part of this, but beyond mindset, it's mental health too, guys. And mindset and affirmation and self-concept, that's intrinsically linked into mental health. But deeper than this, guys, you guys know physical health is mental health as well. So Jupiter and Gemini has really been encouraging us to be more sound of mind and body. And really, like, I said this really when it started, but it's like you're going to see a split here, because everything is polarity. The Jupiter Gemini, you'll see a lot of people getting a lot smarter and a lot more cogent or people saying some really unwise stuff. All right. So the idea is to practice what you preach, otherwise you become a what? A hypocrite. And nobody likes a hypocrite, where you tell people to do something you won't even do it. Yup. Yup, yup, yup. Well, Saturn is in Pisces and it's making this square. And what's interesting, and I'll show it in the chart as we move forward month by month, but just last thing for 2024 is this square, which is really going to continue in the next year. But it'll be in different signs, basically, because Jupiter will move, Saturn will move. Got some interesting stuff this next year. And make sure you're subscribed, by the way, guys, because I post these videos weekly and you'll get a more clear micro lens of looking at this, okay? But this is definitely some deep foreshadowing. So Saturn is about lessons and restriction, and this is all around the Pisces energy, our imagination, our fantasies, where we sacrifice, what we devote towards. Spirituality is a very Pisces thing. Pisces also rules over isolation and time by yourself, and you know, suffering is a very Pisces thing too. Because we all go through pain in life, and that suffering is intrinsic with the question of why God, and why am I here, and what's the meaning, and Pisces, real Jupiter energy, ruler of Pisces, by the way. But now you got these two planets in a square, Saturn. So I will say that this has been a cold year for some with Saturn in Pisces, teaching you to really respect your boundaries and master your emotions and question your beliefs and add more stability to your spiritual life and ground your idealism so it can be a little bit more useful for everybody. And I think one of the most loud messages that echoes in my soul when it comes to Saturn in Pisces is that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. You guys get this. I'm gonna give you the tea because it's already a shit show on my side. But this motherfucking stalker, they said that they have to save me. And I'm just like, absolutely not. I'm not in danger. If anything, you're the dangerous one. You should be saving me from yourself by leaving me alone. Like the spiritual delusion that this stalker has is so crazy. They said, I'm your guardian angel. I'm an earth angel. Bitch, if you're an earth angel, how the fuck are you failing at earth? Why are you homeless and carless and broken, addicted, and out of shape? If you're really an earth angel, how are you failing at earth? Doesn't make sense. Utter delusion. Pisces Saturn, go the fuck to jail. Anyway, delusion. Nobody's coming to save you. It's not your job to save other people too. Like that's one thing I want to kind of circle back and talk about. No one's coming to save you, and you don't have to save anybody else, guys. Recognize truly life is survival of the fittest. And that's cold. And Neptune Pisces got some of y'all bent in this fucking smoke show, this illusion where you're like, no, it's not that way. Bitch, look at the animal kingdom. Look at the crocodiles and the zebras and tell me it's not the strong survive. You can argue with nature. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. And some of y'all think there's some moral virtue in being a victim of your own sacrifices. I don't think so. It's okay if you think that. I used to think that. But then I realized the only way to help the world is through my example. And if I show other people to martyr themselves, I'm walking them off the cliff. So let's not do that. Okay. I'm going to advocate for self-love, self-respect, and self-preservation. The number one law of nature, self-preservation, self-love, and self-respect, self-deification, liberation, illumination, apotheosis. It's hot in the kitchen, y'all. So if it's too hot, feel free to scroll on by. I know not everybody can tolerate my energy, me at my raw, real self. And I'm not saying this to sound conceited, because it's not even really about me, y'all. This is about my higher self. This is about the virtues I abide by. Like if I were to live this life or leave this life, I want to leave it better than I got it and received it. So I take this shit sometimes too serious, but I think it's better than not serious enough. Like Pluto in the third, my intellectual insecurity, I want to give y'all good guidance. Okay. So I can really only give you the guidance that makes sense to me. That could apply to everybody at the same time. All right. But anyway, Jupiter Saturn square. Things kind of feel weird this year. And, growth, Jupiter might be restricted, Saturn. So it's like some people in this energy have been giving life their all and they've really been working on themselves and learning the lessons and implementing the messages, but you feel like your life is not moving forward. Be patient, have faith, trust this process, okay? Because Jupiter and Saturn, they have about a 20-year cycle. And it's crazy, guys, because in a 20-year cycle, so much can happen. You can just start to take these events for granted and start to just think that's the way life is. Nah, dude, something's happening right now. Jupiter Saturn square is changing the governing structures of your life and get this, the world. All right. So it may look like one of the most chaotic times to be on the planet. It may be hard for Saturn, hard for people to have faith. Jupiter, believe in the future being better than the past, guys. Like I said, you may not know exactly how you're going to get there, but please just be aware of the vision that you have. What does the good life look like? That's why we took time. If you listen to this whole video, that's why we took a significant amount of time focusing on what health looks like for us. What does wealth look like for us? What does love look like for us? What does happiness look like for us? Okay. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So every day, just know that you're moving yourself forward through intentional action. Okay. Definitive action. Definiteness of purpose and a burning desire will get you there. Okay. If you leave the bullshit alone this year, what you do will support your luck and blessings, guys. So let's move the chart forward. That's really all I got to say about the Jupiter Saturn square. Don't let your fear feed into the let me say eat into the luck that you have. Don't let the fear eat your luck. So this is December 21st of 2025, guys. 1 year from now. We'll go backwards basically. It looks the exact same. Oh Lord, get ready, guys. There are many notable changes, but Pluto will stay in Aquarius for the next 20 freaking years. Get excited, guys. Watch where Pluto transits in your chart. I have videos on my profile about it. I'll probably make more, especially sometime around Aquarius season. I think that'd be probably the best time. So make sure you're subscribed. But Pluto will be in Aquarius. It'll move to like 2 degrees. It has a half a year retrograde every year. So Pluto's kind of creeping through Aquarius. We've got Neptune at 29 Pisces at the end of the year. And Neptune is actually going to dip into Aries in 2025, but because of the retrograde, it's going back to Pisces. So next year will be the last year of Neptune Pisces, guys. Well, I will say technically you get a little bit in January of 2026, but you should see what I'm saying. Like Neptune Pisces is almost over. We have Uranus in Taurus still at the end of next year. And it's kind of the same as Neptune, guys. 2025 could really be said to be the year everything changes, because we have Pluto beginning this long trek of Aquarius. We've got Neptune switching into Aries for a little bit. We've got Uranus touching Gemini this year for a little bit before it goes back into Taurus. And this is even crazier because I'm going backwards right now, guys. But we even have Saturn switching signs too. But because of retrograde motion, Saturn's going to go back to Pisces. So, like, oh man, 2025 feels good to me, but it also kind of feels like a tease because it's preparing us for a bigger shift in 2026. And Jupiter goes into Cancer. Jupiter spends about 1 year in every sign because the orbit is 12 years. So thus we get a sign a year, essentially. And it may not always correspond with, the Gregorian calendar hitting up on January, but yeah, really cool stuff. The last, certainly not the least, the biggest thing you want to pay attention to, guys, is the nodes of the moon are switching. The lunar nodes, the north node and the south node, are moving into Pisces and Virgo, respectively. And this is very magical, guys, because the North Node is the future and the South Node is the past. And if you really want to think about what it is, I'm not meaning this metaphorically. I mean this literally, physically. The nodes of the moon, what is this? Because some of y'all are not sure what I'm talking about. This is a little bit mathematical. Some would say it's big brain. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. We have what's called eclipses. So let's say that the microphone was like the sun. And let's say that this green rock was the earth, and the earth is going around the sun. But you also have my chapstick, which is the moon is going around the Earth. Okay. That's the astronomy. And this is always happening. So essentially, there's two planes of orbit, guys. There's the ecliptic plane, which is the plane of the Earth going around the sun, that line of orbit. But then there's the moon's orbital plane, which is basically the moon going around the Earth. In the eclipses, this is where we actually derive the nodes, guys. It's when these two planes intersect, we will get an eclipse. And depending on where the moon is, in the cycle, we're either going to have a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse. And eclipses are going to happen weeks to months apart, basically. So what we do is we measure the degree in the zodiac, in this chart, basically, where the eclipses are going to line up, and then we average them day by day. Okay, because we're not getting an eclipse every single day. We're averaging the last eclipse and the next eclipse, and it's giving us an average degree. And then we watch this node axis move backwards in retrograde because that's the way the eclipses are actually hitting in the zodiac, is going back. All right. And if you take the time to watch this, you'll see it in the chart. That's the simple physics of it, guys. Like, quite literally, everything is vibrating, everything is in motion. We're moving around the sun, but the sun is moving too. All right. So what we're literally looking at with the nodal axis is the direction of the solar system. Hope you guys are tracking that. I know I said a lot of words and some people's minds shut off as they're listening to me because they were, I don't know, maybe I need to be more concise, but the nodes are what? The direction of the solar system. You can't know where you're going if you don't understand where you've been. Period. So the North Node is about what we're leaning into. It's the future, it's the trajectory of the solar system, but also the experiences you may start to have in your actual life, guys. The South Node is where we're coming from. So what things we have to let go of, what things we need to release or integrate within our lives too. Okay? And the nodes switch signs about every 18 months. And the last 18 months have been categorized by Libra and the North Node in Aries. And that's all about doing for yourself. Aries, going first. Mars energy, pursuing passions, being intentional. What? Giving a fuck about people's feelings. Libra, I should say not giving a fuck. It's not a, and it can go both ways, polarities. It's like you need to be righteous, you need to be honest. Every sign has its shadow side. So you could just as much say, go after your own life as quit stepping on people's toes. Quit being a dickhead, quit being a bastard, quit being duplicitous, quit lying, quit valuing appearances more than the raw reality of who you are. Libra South Node. And justifying vanity over results. So really where the North Node in Pisces comes in, because that's old news. That's yesterday's newspaper, guys. Where the North Node in Pisces goes, it's really about manifesting your dreams. Really one of the most auspicious symbols for the year that I'm seeing is the North Node in Pisces, is because that's about your dreams coming true. Dreams, Pisces, coming true, the North Node. How fucking cool is that, guys? For my fire family who is willing in specific dreams that are beautiful, positive, good for everybody, the universe is going to get behind your back and start pushing you forward. Some of you guys have yet to realize the power of creative visualization. Some of you are losing in your own fantasies. What sense does that make? Liberation, illumination, apotheosis. A lot of us got to break out of the negative mold that we're experiencing within our life. Our broken paradigms, our lack of belief in life, our negative assumptions that are deeply embedded in our life unconsciously. These are going to have to be stirred the fuck up. And the South Node in Virgo is hard work too, guys. That's what has to be integrated is consistency. It has to be knowing your patterns and really understanding true fucking service. Because think about this. If the universe is alive, if the universe is one organism that we're all a part of, the universe would not exalt you without making you a good example. And let's be clear, guys, because I know that my intellect can already sense how I would respond to somebody telling me this from a different perspective. What about all these people? What about the plutocrats? What about the powerful people that fuck up this world because they don't have compassion or empathy? Sometimes you have to be an example of what not to be. Okay. And this is where the social dynamic kind of kicks in. We have to work on building community and reforming it collectively. All right. And really, there's so many ways you can articulate these symbols and interpret them, but I just think that when it comes to Jupiter ruling the North Node and the South Node being ruled by Mercury, it's going to be about service still. Okay. I'm going to go through a nodal reversal. So I digress. I just want to say that, like, me personally, with my South Node in Pisces, with my North Node in Virgo, I know that a lot of good changes are going to come into my life and help me understand the world more. But what I'm understanding is that Jupiter, the Pisces energy, is really what you give. It's not about what you get. It's about what you give. And I'm hearing the Jesus take the wheel, like North Node lean into spirit. And spirit's tired of us saying, give it all to me. No, fuck that. It's about you doing this work your goddamn self. It's real Pluto Aquarius energy. It's real Saturn energy. Do it your goddamn self. Quit abdicating responsibility to God. Some things are not your problem. Let's be clear. Some things you have to hit your knees and pray for and be like, give me understanding, give me strength. But then get up off your ass and make a change. Because I'm tired of seeing holy wars. I'm tired of seeing people crusade over their convictions. I'm tired of people creating artificial separation because of their beliefs. I'm tired of it, man. This world has enough fear, it has enough hatred, and can we put it to rest? Can we agree to disagree or agree to not be self-righteous? Like your way is your way, and that doesn't need to be everybody's way. That's what I'm seeing. And y'all can call me on my bullshit. Call me on my dogmatism if I have it. I'm trying to cast it out of my life. Help me be a better person. I need you guys' help, man, because I'm limited to my own perceptions. I try my best to keep it real myself. I don't want to force anybody to do a goddamn thing. As long as they're not violating my boundaries or causing me physical harm, I'm not going to force people to do a damn thing. You may not like my ideas. You may not appreciate them. You might not agree, but you choose to watch my video. All right. So if you want to bring illumination to me, I will listen. All right. If there's a discrepancy in values and vision and interests, I can't promise I'm gonna agree with everything you say, just like you might not agree with me. But if we can put our heads together and be humble enough, we could learn from each other. And that's what I'm really feeling in the collective right now is that, we can build a beautiful world. And I don't want to be naive. I don't want to be, so deep into my wishful thinking and imagination that we neglect the world. But I really think the world could be a lot better than it is right now with Neptune and Pisces. So let's talk about these planets because I'm kind of already building into this vision for you guys. Like Pluto and Aquarius is a 20-year thing that we're going to see um, for the whole year, 2025. And this also reflects, artificial intelligence and the technology revolution and, the information revolution. This is the age of enlightenment, the age of information. So that's really Pluto Aquarius is, and really, like I said, evolve. This is the adaptation you need to make is be willing to use this internet. Be willing to be replaced by robots, you know, use this artificial intelligence for your benefit. Some of us have bullshit jobs, guys. Like I could give you a bunch of examples, but I don't need to draw this out. It's like how many of us used to stock a shelf and now a robot does that. We're getting self-driving cars now. It's like this is the crazy thing that like capitalists have a hard time dealing with. And I'm not advocating against capitalism. I'm just using that as the frame of reference. But it's like if you are in this free market enterprise and you love the value of work and ownership, which I do too, by the way, it can be very fucking scary for some to consider the idea that maybe we don't have to work so hard because your whole livelihood is built on your work. Your identity is built out of your work. Of course, that idea scares you. But I just think, and this is just a radical idea. This kind of goes back to look at the what and forget the how. Clearly, we already know a lot of the how, but just imagine a world where technology is so advanced. We've been able to merge with the natural resources to create universal, sustainable abundance. Think about this. I'm going to say it two more times, guys. Universal, sustainable abundance. Universal means everybody has it. Sustainable means it's unending. It always comes back. And abundance is more than enough for everybody. Everybody has more than enough always. Imagine that. This world is rich. These limitations don't fucking exist. They're artificially created because of fear and greed and anger and hatred. And a lot of that anger and hatred comes from fear. So, how can we take the fear out of this planet? How can we take the fear out of our own minds? How can we liberate ourselves? The only way to help the world is by helping yourself, becoming a better you. If you want to change the world, change yourself. I'm tired of hearing from people that there's a problem with the world. There's a problem with society. There's a problem with space time. There may be truth to what you're saying, but the only way you're going to fix it is you be a better person. I'm talking projection on an elite level. It's the world's problem. It's society's problem. Bitch, you make society. You are a member of society. You can make a difference or you can bitch and create more problems. Pick a side. Pick a fucking side. You create this life. And some people work the least and bitch the most. It doesn't make sense. And I'm sorry if I'm hurting somebody's feelings. But at the end of the day, man, it's this emotional conviction. It's this hypersensitivity in our culture where it's like we feel afraid to address the elephant in the fucking room. You got to be so motherfucking politically correct. You can't even talk about the real issues. It's kind of bullshit. It's like this weak ass culture. I want people to be stronger. And again, I know I'm part of the culture. So I may not be the best person. I may not be perfect, but I'm trying my best. All right. Good times create weak people, and weak people create bad times, and bad times create strong people, and strong people create good times, which creates weak people, which create bad times, and then strong people. It's a cycle, right? So the question is, because arguably, these are some of the best times we've ever had in the world. There's issues that are unique to this time period, like healthcare premiums being ridiculous, predatory loans. Um, I could list them on. The wars that are happening in this world, famine, disease, poverty, like we don't need all these issues. I'm off on Neptune, pardon me, y'all. But we can really make a change. Everybody can make a change. And I really feel like it comes to education, it comes to liberating the mind. It's going to be this technology that really helps us free ourselves to innovate, to compile our resources, to live more in unity with the land as well. So there's going to be a new vision. I'm going to show you guys like month by month. It's going to be around April where Neptune finally moves into the sign of Aries. This will start that new vision for the culture because that's really Neptune's domain, is the culture. And our culture is going to be way more interested in the autonomy of self, exalting individuals to a higher level. Like real Pluto Aquarius, these are all time frames converging, but I'm seeing this like at this point, a lot of people feel so connected to everybody, and you know, the technology has us sharing resources and information so rapidly. A lot of people don't feel like they matter. They don't feel special. They feel like life is just a simulation. It's just a game. This shit doesn't make any sense. And I won't say it's not confusing, but I will just say that our lives matter. Living fulfilled matters. And The answer is always more freedom. It's never less. And Neptune in Pisces, this is the home of Neptune. So I feel like it's a very interesting way our culture has been working for the last like 10 plus years. Neptune in Pisces, where through this age of social media, we compare ourselves to people's highlight reels and we strive collectively for this level of perfectionism that's artificial. And, I also complained about the culture a minute ago about this like weak ass, slippery fish ass culture where it's like people are disillusioned because they're too fucking sensitive. They're grown ass babies. It's like, oh no, you can't talk about the truth because I'm triggered and you triggering me is insensitive. It's just your emotions. That's you choosing to feel violated by the truth. It's like crazy shit like that. On one level, it's a very enlightened and spiritual and compassionate culture with Neptune, but on one note, it's a very addicted and broken and disillusioned and insane culture at the same time, too, guys. So I'm trying my best to kind of polarize some of these archetypes so you can see spectrums of possibilities, but don't do understand it's way bigger than that. This is just me adding language to some of these time frames, okay? I think Neptune in Aries is going to have a very demystifying effect. It's like coming out of the cloud, is seeing the world a little bit clearer. And like I mentioned, guys, because of the retrograde cycle, like check it out. This is late April, May, you know, Neptune goes retrograde in July. It's going to back its ass up. In October, we'll have Neptune back in Pisces, and we'll end the year with Neptune in Pisces. But it's stationing, and 2026 will be like the last year of Neptune Pisces. The retrograde won't take us that back, that far back. All right. So, interesting stuff, guys. This is about like clearing up your personal vision for the world and also exalting people to a higher level. But at the same time, man, if you are not aligned with higher meaning in life or, choosing to be a virtuous person, you may see a lot of idiocy, a lot of self-righteousness, a lot of unwarranted flexing and just delusion. That's Neptune in any sign, really, guys. So watch it where it transits your houses and makes angles to your planets. It'll make more sense to you as far as how does this affect you personally, because this is a cultural shift. Next, we have Uranus moving into Gemini. It's going to take a second, So Uranus and Taurus, it's a 7 year transit, and we're going to be finishing up. This is like year six. 2025 is like year six. Oh, Lord. So around July, Uranus moves into Gemini, and it gives us this little taste of this energy before it retrogrades back to Taurus. So Uranus in Taurus is about cryptocurrency. Uranus is elevation, Taurus is resources. So funny enough, you see cryptocurrency on a boom. You see in people walking over milk crates and crashing out, and people being unstable, and supply chain shortages and inflation, and yeah, Uranus is in Taurus, y'all. And you're also seeing a lot more entrepreneurs and people finding their unique, independent resources. Really cool. Money's going back into the community. People are prioritizing ecology with Uranus and Taurus as well, and I'm seeing more people having community gardens and growing their own food. And we're moving towards this universal sustainable abundance, guys. How cool is that? Bro, it's crazy. It's like it can look hard to get to the end goal because we're so wrapped up in the paradigm and we forget we create the fucking paradigm, guys. Like when you're in the fucking fishbowl, everything looks like a fish's home, but there's a whole ocean out here, dude. You get me? So just take it back to where we started from, guys. If we literally took care of this planet, we would be good forever. Humans have dominated the food chain. So we really don't have many natural predators. We've got, you know, shelters, and we know how to destroy damn near every other life force, even big ass whales, like the biggest organisms on the planet, we can just kill with no problem to the point where they go extinct. It's crazy to being a human. How crazy is that? But literally, if we just took these natural resources and created systems to preserve them, everybody would have universal sustainable abundance. And I know there's a whole spiritual thing to get into about like, but not everybody wants that. Okay, who gives a fuck? If somebody wants to keep the world stuck, stagnant, dead, off with their head. Let them eat cake, bitch. Fuck you. I'm talking real Pluto and Aquarius. CEOs are getting gunned down in the streets, dude. We're gonna get the change one way or another. And I'm not advocating for violence whatsoever, y'all. No, I'm not. But I'm just saying the human spirit is choosing more freedom, not less freedom. And we know we gotta take care of this fucking world. And we're moving to a world without secrets. We're moving to a world of transparency, a world of truth. And really what I was referencing is like some people may benefit from crime, you know, they might be outlaws. They might not want a peaceful society. So you know what we do? We create prisons. We lock these fuckers up. We learn to correct them. And this is like a really crazy idea that I'm receiving from the universe, and time will tell. We'll see what this does in our lifetimes. But, you know, Elon Musk, a lot of people hate this dude. But at the same time, I've never seen anybody hate him as much as they care about the world. It doesn't make any fucking sense. People care less about the world and more about hating him. They're part of the problem. You may think he's another billionaire we need to eat, but it's like, let's see you actually give a fuck about you know, decentralized banking or electric vehicles or environmental sustainability. It's like y'all ain't doing shit but hating. Pick your fucking side, seriously. All right, but it's not about Elon. That's not the point. The point was this technology called Neuralink. And I know he was implicit in creating this, but the fact that he's involved in it is not the point. The point is man and machine are merging. This is very Pluto Aquarius, very Uranus and Gemini energy, guys. Man and machine are converging. And this is not even news. It's like you get impulses sometimes before your phone rings because you're so fucking connected to your phone. And we're so enmeshed in technology. Our algorithms are damn near reading our fucking brains. You're seeing ads for shit you never talked about, but you are thinking about. It's like, how interesting is that? You know, so man and machine are merging. And it stands to my reasoning that society is also going to get cleaned up through the advancement in technology because mental illness, the mental health crisis, this is one of the hardest things in the world. And I think this is a big part of the drug crisis. This is a big part of religious wars. The fact that people are mentally unstable, can't process their own mind, their mind and emotions and feelings, and their energies get maligned, and we start hurting people. I think, and what I'm receiving, guys, my higher intellect says, like, we're going to get so wrapped up into technology, we'll be able to diagnose issues before they manifest in danger. We'll be able to, bro, it's like, I think it's an African proverb, and it basically says, like, when a child is shunned from the village, they'll burn the whole village down just to feel the warmth that they're missing. A lot of broken people in this fucking world, people suffering, people addicted, coming from broken homes, lacking guidance, lacking love, lacking leadership. You know, these are the people that become crash outs, and you see them doing the mass shootings and fucking up this world because they want to feel loved. All right. And we could use spirituality and religion to try to debate the meaning and origin of evil. Fuck that old ass, regressive ass philosophical bullshit. Like, we can work on that on the side step, but at the end of the day, we have to get more scientific about where did these malign forces come from? What prompts somebody to want to destroy? And how can we redirect that energy when it comes up? All right. So I know this is very lofty, very Uranus energy, very in the future, but I'm just saying, guys, like this technology will be freedom for us. We just have to get more aware of our data, compile it more, and be ready to change, be ready to embrace these new technologies. And it's an interesting road because a lot of us, you know, enjoy the privacy that comes from being unplugged because we're kind of integrating the shift now, but you'll see it more and more as we grow as a species in our collective. Like there's going to be more technology, not less. So I'm excited for this, guys. And really, when I see Uranus making a trine to Pluto, I just know that this is going to be a great time for mental health and healing in the world and technological advancements. And it's a beautiful time, guys. And like when it comes to your personal life, the literal answer here is saying your answers are on the internet. Every one of your problems could be solved with ingenuity, with creativity, through using your resources. Like shit, some of y'all may be amputated or whatever. It's like you get prosthetics. Like, look at science working out for you. How crazy is that? Somebody could have lost their legs in a battle, but now they're walking. Or they never were born with legs, but now they're walking. Thank humans for technology. And I hate shitting on people's beliefs, man, because beliefs are what we hold so tried and true, and it's like it makes us feel warm and fuzzy and safe on the inside on the deepest level. But it's like you're gonna need to find a rational understanding of God, of the universe, of your higher self, because what we're not gonna do is abdicate our responsibility. We have to remember we create our lives, guys. So you are going to see more and more you really can't beg God for shit, or you can't thank God for things, or beg God for a favor. You know, that's you. There are spirits in the world. There are our forces at play, but the way the human species is moving towards is the information age, and knowledge is power. So people have to become more powerful subsequently to work with spirit as well. It's just a sign of the times. Okay. Just make your life make sense on a rational level. And convictions are an even bigger enemy to the truth than lies. Let me say that twice, guys. Convictions are an even bigger enemy to the truth than lies. And that means it's not even the things that you know, it's the things that you know that ain't so. It's you putting your faith in unseen forces. It's you having an emotional attachment to your beliefs, where you are not certain that you're right, but because you hope and want to be right so much, you advocate for your belief as the truth, even though it's not. Convictions are an even bigger enemy to the truth than lies. All right. So every day, polarity can create artificial separation in the world. But just this year, do your best to demystify your life and to put all your beliefs under a magnifying glass and a microscope and a black light and really question them and ask where they originate from. And, think about, what does your voice say? What does your voice say? I feel very Uranus Gemini as I'm saying this, but reserve the right to come up with your own conclusions. Okay. What I think is also very interesting, guys, is that the United States of America has Uranus and Gemini in its birth chart. So these next 7 years are going to be a very interesting time for America, to say the least. I don't like predicting the future too much, even though I've given a couple visions and, you could maybe call them predictions. Universal sustainable abundance, man and machine linking to the point where mental illness gets eradicated before it manifests in danger and harm and crisis. I like where we're going as a species. I think this is going to be a beautiful decade, a beautiful century, a beautiful millennia. It's just cool. I really like it. Jupiter and Cancer, though. Well, there's more to say. Saturn and Neptune are going to link up this next year. And then Saturn and Neptune kind of create a little bit of separation. Saturn is switching signs from, Pisces to Aries. And this is really about getting your shit together, guys. If I could just put it frankly, Saturn in Aries is mastering what? Yourself. Saturn mastery, self Aries, self mastery. Self mastery really being the only form of success. So I feel like we've circled this concept so many times in this video, it almost doesn't need explanation. It's about minimizing projection, maximizing responsibility, basically. And this is a really hard place for Saturn to be. Let's be honest, guys. The traditional astrological consensus says that Saturn rules Cap in Aquarius, it exalts in Libra, and it falls in Aries. Saturn is a planet with a ring around it. It's the final planet you can see without the telescope. So this planet is all about boundaries. All right. But you put the planet of duality, Saturn, in the sign of singularity, Aries, just me, you can create some conflict, or you can create real structure. You can have correct separation. And this is inherently a paradox if you really think about what I'm saying, duality plus singularity. There will be a lot of reconciliation for a lot of us. But at the same time, you will see people's fears, coupling with their drive and people creating more distortion, more separation than is necessary. But at the end of the day, man, that's a regular Tuesday. Because I know I'm talking about like a 3-year thing now, but do be aware, guys. The planet is moving and spinning. So like we're gonna have Saturn in the first house every day in your natal chart. And someone else will have it in their, first house every day at some point. Or I should say the first house. And you'll experience like all these planets going through all your houses all the time. Because there's the natal and then the relocated, like the location you happen to be in. That's literally what I'm talking about, okay? So everybody has a Saturn Aries moment every day, and a Saturn Gemini moment, and a Saturn Cancer moment. And it takes 2 hours for these like little moments to change. 24 hours divided by 12, 2 hours of a moment as far as the zodiac goes. But I'm getting a little bit out there. I'm getting a little bit more, I don't even want to say woo woo because this is actually math, but this is not something that a lot of people talk about when it comes to astrology. I've definitely not really read it in many books, a couple books, but yeah. So I know this is not just my idea. Other people see this too. But anyway, Saturn in Aries, self-mastery. What I do like about this next year, guys, is Jupiter is going to be exalted. Jupiter is moving from debilitation to exaltation. Or I should say, yeah, detriment to exaltation. Like I said, Jupiter in Gemini is kind of a mind fuck, if I could just put it bluntly. It's the growth happening in a multitude of areas, like where am I going? Oh Lord. And then we've got Jupiter moving into Cancer. So we're going to be learning through our emotions. We'll be learning through our family, learning through our feelings, learning through our connections with life. And this really does exacerbate your intuitive qualities and functions, and it'll make you more wise. It'll make you more, able to understand meaning. And deeper than this, guys, it's a desire to give what? Because Jupiter is giving, it's giving love, it's giving care, it's giving compassion, it's giving safety. Cancer is about the family. It's about us waking in the broad context of this video. It will help us wake up to our humanity for each other. And that's everything. That's beautiful. Again, polarity kicks out as well. So it's not all good. Every placement is a spectrum of possibilities that may or may not happen. And I see in the people with this placement, because keep in mind, every 12 years, you'll have babies born under Jupiter Cancer. And every year, every day, people will be born with Jupiter in the fourth house, which is similar, not the same, but similar. But some people with this energy find too much belief or too much meaning in what? Their convictions again, their emotions, their Cancer energy. And you can find some of these Jupiter Cancer people being the biggest hypocrites. And no shade to the Jupiter Cancer, because it could be everybody. And you could have, Jupiter Virgo be the most discriminating, inscrutable, logical person, but someone might catch you on that fourth house Jupiter moment, and you be a dumbass and a hypocrite and a self-righteous dickhead, a tyrant, because you got questioned for what you really believe down at your core, and you started acting out of character or not virtuous because your conviction got in the way. Nobody's perfect, y'all. We all make mistakes. So the real bottom line question is, guys, are you correctable? The worst thing you could be in this world is uncorrectable. The worst thing. All right. And sometimes you got to recognize that you don't always get your way in life, and not getting your way doesn't make life bad. And sometimes your way is not a good way. Some of us, if we got what we wanted, life would suck, dude. That's the beautiful thing about this universe, the consciousness, this spirit that literally derives all of life, is that there are higher forces at play. And sometimes you feel blocked from certain things within your life, like karmically, or what did I do in a past life? Or you might ask those questions. And it's like, and you may feel this emotional, spiritual block. Sometimes the law has to step in and redirect you. But like literally, you are not allowed to do things that hurt other people. You're not allowed to by natural law, guys. Think about it. If self-preservation is the number one law of nature, we have to preserve nature. And duality is confusing a lot of us because doesn't the crocodile have to eat a zebra? Don't these carnivores need meat? Yes, they do. All right. So we can crusade endlessly about virtues and morality and what is good or bad or where does God come from. It doesn't fucking matter. That's the wrong question. The question is, how can we benefit the most people with harming the least people? That's the right choice. Okay. That's the good choice. Any baby can choose between good and bad, but it takes a real cognizant person to choose between two options that also have negative consequences. The right choice is the one that helps the most and harms the fucking least. So I'm telling you guys, while evolution can be a slow, grudgy, grindy, disgusting process at times, it always gets better. We're evolving as a species, we're evolving as a group. Everything changes, everything evolves. Humanity evolves, society evolves, technology evolves, religions evolve, spirituality evolves. Everything changes, nothing stays the same besides natural laws. Natural laws, that's it. A law is inscrutable. It's not a theory, it's not a conviction, it's not a hypothesis. It's something that when you test it, every time it's true. Like the law of gravity, that objects with a bigger mass attract objects with a smaller mass, polarity, vibration, cause and effect, laws of the universe, self-preservation. All right. So I think my point was really driven home, guys, but I'm just saying it's like sometimes your desires are blocked because you are being redirected to a more compassionate, a more altruistic, a more humanitarian path. I could give you an example. It's like somebody may be failing in their business and they might have a great idea. They might have a service or a product that genuinely helps people, but it's not enough to do the right thing at the right time. You have to be the right person, right? Because let's say that you have a lot of unresolved issues. I'm just painting a picture of a random person. And if someone has to wear the shoe, more power to you. But I'm just trying to paint a picture because I feel like this is where I came from in my life was that I wanted to succeed. I wanted to be free. I wanted my business to work. When I started business, I was just selling crystals. I was just selling spiritual gifts and stuff. But I had a lot of work I had to do on myself, and I found myself feeling consistently blocked and not able to succeed. And I saw other people in the world selling, drop shipping random bullshit and becoming super rich, getting millions. And it's like, I have something I want, but it's like I had all this baggage on the inside of me. I had all this anger, I had all this resentment, I had all this pain I was still holding on to. So it's like, what do you get when you add money to something? You get expansion. So it's like not everybody can have what they want because they're not the right person, is what I'm trying to say. It's like some people are deeply mad and resentful at the world. You add power to their lives, what the fuck do you think they're gonna do with it? They're gonna punish and abuse people, period. So really the question is, are your intentions aligned with the universe? That's really the ultimate question. And do your unconscious intentions align with your conscious intentions too? What I'm saying is do our damn shadow work, heal, bring light to the darkness. You can't offer the wisdom of the morning star without the wisdom of the darkness within. It just doesn't make any sense. That says you don't understand polarity and duality. And anything you suppress is going to get distorted too, guys. And I see Lilith moving into Scorpio too in this next year as well. So it's going to be a very dark year, but that's not a bad thing. If anything, this could be a really great thing if you understand alchemy. So probably the best thing you've ever experienced. So the thing about Lilith, which is also very interesting, is that Lilith is the lunar apogee. It's the furthest distance the moon can be from the Earth, and this is a raw primal pole. And power comes from the Scorpio energy, or this is the Scorpio energy, I should say. It's the power, the control, the evolutionary force, and you'll find a lot of people obsessed with the Great Path and a lot of darkness. And dark isn't bad, but you guys maybe kind of see the stigma in my tonality, like The darkness being the confusion, the unconsciousness. A lot of this unconsciousness will be resolved in this coming year. But just don't be so self-righteous that you think you're not the problem. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the medicine we all got to take if we want to really bear our weight and pull our weight and help the world. Because if you see yourself as perfect, there's no reason you have to grow. And if you don't grow and improve yourself, you can't grow and improve the world, basically. And I'm not trying to have other people, us fall back into this hyper industrial, capitalist, neo-feudalistic bullshit. Like, it's not about just produce, 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 work and die. No, it's just about life is a constant flux of ebb and flow and energy and vibration. So where are your intentions? That's the bottom line question, guys. Are you really willing in world peace, or are you seeing a world with strife? It's up to you which reality you want to live in. So I could say a whole lot, but I really feel like that's the gist of this video, guys. It's been a long one too. So please, before you sign off this video, leave a like and subscribe for the algorithm. It means the world to me. If you were able to stomach my message at this point, this tells me that you really do want to make a more beautiful world. So before we click off the video, I want you guys to literally imagine the whole world. Like, you could even look at it like from outside outer space and you're looking down at the world, but imagine the world at peace. Imagine the world full. Imagine we have this universal sustainable abundance. Bring this into vibration. Advocate for this now. Okay? Change yourself. Become a more virtuous person. Lead by example. You can't force people to follow you. Just be your best self. The world will take care of itself, okay? That's your job, is just to be loving and peaceful, okay? And say no to the evil. Let me be very clear, guys, because it's, again, Mars, Pluto. Evil's going to do what it does. Your job is to say no, because if you don't speak up, it keeps doing its thing. So say no to evil. Stop the evil. Because sometimes turning a blind eye, saying I don't want to create this reality, it can just be negligence. And that's not what we're talking about today, guys. Is we have to look at the problems and clear them up immediately in order to work as a species and move forward. Suppression is distortion. Neglect is not getting us there, guys. Evolution is the only solution. Self-mastery is the only success. So that's the word. I love you guys, and I hope you found something powerful from this video, because only we can predict the future. Only we can create it ourselves. So Fire Family, your job is to live with intention. Be intentional with everything in the realm of your control. Keywords, your control. All your intentions will manifest. And sometimes beyond that, you have to recognize that there are higher forces of control in the universe. Natural law being one of the biggest and most important ones. All right? So you can't argue with the law. You have to get with the program. And if laws need to be changed on a social level, cool, we can do that as a society, but we can't change nature. That's the problem. We can't change nature. Quit trying to change your natures. Change your habits, change your self-talk, change your beliefs. All right? And then as a society, we can change laws and the society, and we can create universal sustainable abundance. All right, y'all? This was a year-long breakdown, but it honestly felt like at least 20 years. So, hey, I'll be watching this with my grandkids at some point. I love you so much, guys. Blessed be and blessed we. Open yourself to receive the good things that life has for you. Take care.